All right. Hello and greetings. How are we doing today? So, the YouTube channel is officially up. The first several videos are set for a scheduled upload. And while I was going through everything, I discovered, and I had totally forgotten, that several months ago I had gotten the online game Tabletop Simulator? Yeah, Tabletop Sim. And I did a complete run through my game and I recorded it and I did some editing down and I did everything I could just from Tabletop Sim. So what I said was in my next video we would go like I would play the game, but I'm going to change that up a little bit. I'm going to make it so the YouTube channel will be the main source of information besides, of course, the game rules itself, um, a source of my own kind of outlet. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm not going to just play the game just with a bunch of different characters because there's no way I can record that. It's not going to be fun to watch. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the game, of course, on my own, you know, just I'm going to play the game without any sort of recording that doesn't it's not going to be entertaining. So I'm going to go from that, take a bunch of notes, and with the characters from the prior video, what I would want is to actually start writing the scripts because the point of the game is to tell stories. So I want to represent still as close to the channel as possible the game itself and what it is for. It's for telling stories. So that is going to be the goal with going forward. So going back to this video, this is going to be all I did is with my hard drive. I was moving videos in and out. I found these. I'm like, holy crap! I totally forgot. So I watched all of these just once through just now. Holy crap, it's only three. Oh, that's okay. All right, so I watched all these just once through. I got them in the best order. We are not going to watch the last one, the card complete, because this is all three of these just all in one video. So there's going to be that Filmora watermark on the screen. I don't know how it's going to look with another watermark, but it's all I got right now. I can't find any anything online that's video editing that won't leave a big watermark that just is free. I can't find one right now. I'll work on it the best I can. But if I can get this just full screen, I think it'll be right in the center. So it might just seem a little darker, which is okay. I have most of the game happening up above anyway. So this is just going to be a run through dry commentary. Dry commentary, is that even a thing? I don't think. I guess it's just going to play that. That song can't. Whatever. It's just the song. Okay. This is just from my memory. What is happening on the board? Am I able to keep track with what is happening on the screen as, as an avid player of this game? So of course, with the first watching these videos, the first dry run, I think that's what I was trying to say before. The first dry run, whatever I was trying to say before, that was all just for to refresh my memory because this was several months ago. This is from my own little Steam account, which I only got Steam just for this project, Tacta, which I could talk about Tacta later. It's no longer it's no longer a project. It's something I gave up on. It was way too ambitious. So what's happening here is I'm setting up. I am gonna just knocked out. I'm setting up the basic game. So there's 4 players. All 4 players have at least one single die. Setting up a hallway 4 cards. And there actually isn't the banner, the whatever it's called, the thingy. So I will fast forward very soon. I'm not going to sit here and watch absolutely all 15 minutes, but I'm just, like I said, I'm doing all this in one take. I've watched these videos once, just making sure that I am here, mentally prepared, mentally set. So I'm just seeing this game board getting set up. Everyone draws to 5 when I really should have just let them draw to 3 since there's 4 players. Like it would have been just fine. And then I also I also realized I could have rotated the 2 players on the left side. I could have rotated their cards, but for whatever reason in my mind, I just didn't do that. Even though I think it's later on in either this video or one of the other videos, I used the rotate option on a card. So I don't know why I missed that. I just did. So this was an iteration of the game where instead of drawing when you draw your heart card and you immediately put it down, this was a version of the game where you kept your heart cards until you needed them. So you would build up to 1, 2, 3, and then you'd go down 3, 2, 1. And in that instance, it gave the players 6 chances to pass the card, and it just got to be. I mean, if you want to play that way, go for it. Add, if you could keep the heart cards in your hand until you need them, then you count 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I mean, if you want to play like that, go for it. But just for me in the main game, it seemed to not have any sort of challenge to it or any. It took that risk way, way down, especially with all the items and being able to what I'm going to do here and being able to split up into a group. You could just have all 4 players and move through the game all in the same, and it would just be so. I changed that later on. So this was still in the trial phase of Terrors in the Night. So now what I'm saying is the 2 players on the right, the next to the Jack and the Queen, they are staying in that hallway. They are not moving forward. While the 2 players on the left, who got their characters, they are the ones who are searching down this hallway. And here we go. There's the first time where, for whatever reason, they can't pass this card. So I think for a lot of these cards, in my mind, I stuck with opposite or higher. But because I was capturing the video, I didn't want to just have a complete and utter fail state, which I don't think I ever did. I don't think that ever happened with with the players being able to draw up to 3 and then down to 3. They they were able to do the search part of the game incredibly easily. I think here I noticed a failure. He had the 4 of hearts with the 4 of hearts. He could have played that and would have finished the hallway rather than taking the damage, which he doesn't even take the damage until the end of 6 cards. So the reason I went from once you draw the heart, that's you can see that in action here. It was way less risky. Way it just didn't seem as fun. And now here on the board, I'm adding the chips underneath the card. So the 10 from rewatching these videos, I think the 10s are currency. So just kind of like shillings or bills, whatever you want to find, just like on a table or whatever. Um, the green chips, I believe, are treasures. So those are items that are little bit more valuable, but are still considered looted items. So you have to go and get them like pawned off. So you can collect treasures over time if you start running out of money. And then the hundreds, the red chips, I believe, are items. So like for me as the game master in this case, I would have those red chipped items just in case I wanted to give them to them, like just in case they're searching location, and it would make sense for them to find, like a lockpick. It would make sense for them to find just any sort of item that the game master can have those on the side. All these players though, they didn't have an item, but they all had an attribute. So here I'm going to use an example for an attribute in a game. So he's playing, or two attributes actually. He's playing one on one with the game master, and I'm going to give him his attribute, his ability. So just because we're playing one on one, it's more fun if the other player has something tangible to show that they can do something or there's some sort of change. So here I'm setting up clear the dungeon, which with one player isn't very fair, but like I said, this was early stages. So let's jump. All right, and then here we go. I click on all the cards so I know where to start. I'm not gonna there's the one rule of clear the dungeon is what if that's even a rule is you have to go in this reverse order. You can't just jump around and flip all the cards. It's much easier if you when you play it in person, stacking those cards in that shape and knowing how the order goes. You don't have to do the whole clicky thing, but it still worked. He's able to draw. He's still passing. And I believe it's here is where he can't pass. So what he does is for whatever reason, I'll pause it here. For whatever reason, his class gives him the ability where he can add a dice roll to this suit, which I know I apologize. I turned off the game capture mouse because I don't like watching mouses scream across the screen when I'm watching it. So let me clarify. The 10 of clubs is his highest card. That 10 of clubs right in the center also happens to be the attribute for his class. So during this game, he's like, "Hey, I'm playing one on one with you. I have the ability to roll a die and try and save myself because this is clear the dungeon. If you can't pass one card, it's game over. You're done. There's a one chance to clear the dungeon." So he has given the game master his attribute. Say, I'm going to take my 10 of clubs and I'm going to roll to get higher than the jack. So that jack can be, I think a jack is an 11 technically. So he can now take that 10 and roll with this attribute. And he needs to roll at least higher than a 1, which is really good. So he rolls, he gets a 4, which is he adds the 4 to the 10, he can clear that card. But now his attribute has been used, so he's turned it in. He no longer can use it unless the game master just decides he can. So we're gonna keep going. He's doing pretty good. Oh, that's not good. So he can't. He's lost. He loses. The game master's like, oh, "Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. It's a failure this time. You'll have to come back another day." But we'll say that character in the upper left, they have a skill where if all the players are like close together or whatever, they can say, "Hey, game master, I'm gonna use this skill. Would be like a bardic skill." And we're all going to come together and I want to play another game. If all the players vote yes, then they all get a play. So I'm like, okay, so clear the dungeon is 6 cards with 1 player or however many. So now I'm gonna say, okay, we're gonna play the ship's wheel, which is clear the dungeon with 6 more cards, 8 more cards. So yeah, the ship's wheels I think is twice as much as clear the dungeon because every card in the center all now gets a bit of a spoke. So that's, it looks like a ship's wheel. Here is another wonderful example of of what could happen. So the very first card, I tell them, okay, if you're going to use your attribute, this bardic skill to auto play the game, you no longer get 5 cards. We're going to go down to 3. Or you could just go, the game master could just decide whenever. But for this, it just made sense to say, okay, he has failed. So now you're all going to come together. So we're going to go down to 3 cards. The very first card is a king. No one can like roll or do anything for it. So I, the game master, just decide, okay, just draw again. Because you can be nice, you can be kind, but the king's gonna stay, and there we go. They got started. Boop. So they get started and they start going all the way around. They start playing. It looks like a little turtle. 7 7. 9. I'm gonna say opposite higher. And for this, there's also another rule to where you cannot draw up to 3 or 5 or however many for the ship's wheel until you've used all your cards. Or once the first 8 are clear. So once you clear the first 8, then you could draw because you're technically, you're like going down deeper, technically, in like a sense of the way. So you're kind of getting like a reset once you've cleared the first all the spokes. So there we go. They've cleared all the spokes, and from here they're all going to draw up to 3 again, and they're going to get started with the clear the dungeon shape. 7 7 3 3. Hey, good, good. They're playing through 5. It's the same 5. I'll take it. It's like, whatever. I'm being nice to them. 6 7. Okay, that's fine. That's higher. Last card. Everyone's down. Like they've got 8 2s 3s. Like it's gonna be tough. Oh yeah. No, they can't. So I think during this, they even with all of them coming together, they still couldn't win. But we use a third attribute. Let's just say this guy here can, if in the upper center, he has an attribute to where he can say, hey, at any point in whatever, he can say, in this game, if someone else has the same suit as I do, I can add their card to mine at any point during the search or ghost combat phase. And it get down to the very last card, and it just so happens that there's an 8 and there's two of clubs. So if he wants to, he can even add that other 2 of clubs. But it's down to the last card. I just give it to him. I'm like, you know what, you're right. That's a 10. That's the last card. So there we go. They've won, they've cleared. So from here, I'm gonna give them here's what example of what a good amount of rewards would look like for clearing a entire building. So this would be searching, finding all the clues, finding the ghost object, and then going into combat. So wow, that is a lot to explain, but you can see it's still all there. It's still all rolling. So here's the rewards. They would have to go. What I was starting from. They would have to go back to the pub or go back to some sort of central location and turn in this search in order to get these rewards. That would that's what would happen in the new game, or this could be all rewarded at the very end. Whatever. That's perfect. So, oh, hey, let's wait. I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna give myself some time to edit because that was like 15 minutes. We're probably going on longer than that. So I'm gonna keep it around 15 minutes. We're gonna cut it down. I'm rolling immediately in the next one, which this says items and attributes, but this is more rewards than the other one. I don't know. I think I got these labeled wrong at some point in time, but clearly this is all just in the prototype phase. So, hey, we're gonna wait right here and I wasn't planning on having to end it here. But hey, if you're still with me, you'll still be with me. I'm pretty sure I'll do another super cut because that was super fun to make. Um, you guys have a great rest of your day or evening. Remember, let me get the work, let me do the work so you can have the fun. I can't remember how the saying goes, but it's something like that, right? Let me do the work so you can have the fun. It's something like that. But hey, I'm still working. We're still working. We'll see you shortly. Bye.